You set an alarm last night. You checked your phone before your feet touched the floor. You ate something fast and started moving toward a deadline that already existed before you woke up. That is your day, and it feels like the only way a day could work. But for 300,000 years, your species did not live like this. And when scientists finally studied how ancient humans actually spent their time, the answer was stranger than anyone expected, and slower, and in ways that might make you uncomfortable. Better. Here is what your ancestors actually did all day. Anthropologist Marshall Sahlins spent years studying modern hunter-gatherer communities, the groups whose lives most closely mirror those of your prehistoric ancestors. What he found shook the academic world. He called them the original affluent society, not because they had much, but because they worked so little. On average, a hunter-gatherer adult spent between 3 and 5 hours per day doing anything that could be called work. The rest was rest, social connection, and what Sahlins simply described as doing nothing in particular. That is not laziness. That is 200,000 years of efficiency. For the men in most ancient foraging communities, the primary task was hunting, but this was not a daily grind. Anthropologist Frank Marlowe documented that Hadza men in Tanzania, one of the last hunter-gatherer communities on Earth, return with significant game only about once every 4 to 5 days. On the other days, they come back with honey or tubers or nothing, and nobody panics. The hunt itself was not a sprint. It was patient. Ancient humans were persistence hunters. Your body was literally built for this. You have tendons that store elastic energy. You sweat through your skin in a way almost no other mammal does. Biologist Daniel Lieberman at Harvard has shown that the human body is one of the finest long-distance running machines evolution has ever produced. Ancient hunters did not outrun their prey. They followed it for hours until it overheated and gave up. That is patience as a survival strategy, relationship with time that modern life has almost completely erased. Back at camp, something equally important was happening: gathering. Primatologist Kristen Hawkes documented that gathered food, roots, berries, nuts, tubers accounted for the majority of calories in most hunter-gatherer diets. And gathering was social. It happened in groups, with conversation, with teaching, with collective attention moving at a pace nothing like your back-to-back meetings. By midday, most of the day's work was done, and then they rested, not as a reward, not as a scheduled break, just as part of what a day was. The afternoon and evening were overwhelmingly social. If you could sit invisibly inside an ancient camp and watch, you would see something that looks like a dinner party that never ends. Storytelling, laughter, playing with children, music in many cultures, almost every single evening. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent years recording the conversations of the Zhuangzi people of the Kalahari and found that after dark, around the fire, more than 80% of all conversation was stories. Fictional accounts, imaginative scenarios, tales of people who were not present. Your hunger to watch a film, to follow a stranger's life online, to lose yourself in a story before bed, that is not a modern invention. It is as old as fire itself, and fire matters here beyond warmth or cooking. Control of fire extended the day. Before it, when the sun set, life paused. After it, the social world continued into the darkness. Your ancestors had evening, and they used it to talk face-to-face with people they knew and trusted. Think about that the next time you reach for your phone after dark. This morning you set an alarm and checked your phone before your feet touched the floor. And somewhere in your body, a set of ancient expectations you did not choose is already running, waiting for a world that no longer exists. You were built to move slowly over long distances. You spend most of your day sitting still. You were built to solve immediate problems with your hands. Most of your problems are abstract and deferred. You were built for deep social bonds maintained through physical presence. Many of your closest relationships now exist almost entirely through a screen. You were built to rest without guilt in the middle of the day. The word nap has become in much of the modern world faintly embarrassing. None of this means you should abandon what you have built. Modern life has eliminated most of the suffering that ancient life included: the infant mortality, the cold, the hunger that arrived without warning. But the friction you feel by 3 p.m., the craving for story, the way a real conversation with a real person in the same room feels different from any digital substitute, that is not weakness. That is your nervous system telling you what it was shaped to need. This morning you set an alarm and you checked your phone before your feet touched the floor, and somewhere in your body a set of ancient expectations you did not choose and cannot fully override was already running in the background, waiting for a world that no longer exists. The question is not how to go back. You cannot. The question is what you already know in the oldest part of yourself about what a human day was supposed to feel like.